We have reached the threshold where the curtain of illusion tears away to reveal the true engine of the cosmos. For too long, humanity has been indoctrinated into the belief in the solidity, the immutable permanence of matter, when in ultimate truth, what we perceive as tangible is nothing more than a symphony of frequency, a vast ocean of oscillating energy that dances according to the dictates of our consciousness. Prepare yourselves, seekers of gnosis, for we are about to penetrate the forbidden archives of existence, those texts that modern science is only now beginning to whisper, but which alchemists and hermetic sages have jealously guarded for millennia. This journey is not a mere compilation of facts. It is an initiation, a voyage to the vibrational core of your being, where you will discover that the master key to manipulating external reality lies inexorably in the modulation of your inner frequency. Reality is not a fait accompli. It is a malleable fabric, woven with threads of intention and resonance, and at the end of this encounter, they will possess the loom. This revelation demands a profound connection, a silent oath between mentor and disciple. I'm not addressing the distracted masses, but those chosen few who feel the unmistakable call of transcendence. Those whose souls know there is more beyond the veil of the senses. To ensure the resonance of this frequency we are about to activate, I ask for the first offering. If you feel deep within your being that these words echo a forgotten truth, I ask that you activate that digital resonator, that small confirmation we call the gusto, an energetic assent that validates the importance of keeping this wisdom circulating in the public sphere. If you also wish to be part of this sanctuary of knowledge and continue navigating the depths of existence with me, join the fellowship and subscribe now, securing your place in the front row of future revelations. The final pact, the declaration that seals your intention and activates the quantum mechanism of the quest, must be spoken at the altar of commentary. It is the energetic signature that confirms your sovereignty over established dogma and your commitment to unadorned truth. Declare aloud and then write with unwavering intention, I seek the truth. Only those willing to dismantle the pillars of their own perception can aspire to frequency mastery. Throughout the coming narrative cycles, we will unveil how the universe is not a place, but a vibrational event. How your inner energy centers act as cosmic transformers, and, crucially, how the coherence between your heart and mind becomes the tractor beam that shapes reality to your will. If you learn to vibrate in the right way, reality, my brothers and sisters, will be yours. The discovery. Everything is energy, the fundamental principle that the physical universe is not solid, but a manifestation of invisible vibrations interpreted by the brain. The first great heresy we must accept to begin this initiatory path is the refutation of touch, the discrediting of sight, and the demolition of matter as we understand it. We believe we inhabit a world of rock and flesh, of solidity and weight, but quantum physics, that modern branch of alchemy, has confirmed what the ancient Vedic sages and the mystics of Eleusis already knew. The universe is, at its most elemental foundation, empty. If we examine any object, the mahogany table, the quartz crystal, your own hand, at subatomic levels, we find that 99.99999% of its composition is empty space. What remains is a frenetic dance of subatomic particles that are not fixed entities, but packets of energy vibrating at dizzying speeds, existing as mere probabilities until the consciousness of an observer, that is, you or I, interferes. The illusion of solidity is simply a limitation of our sensory apparatuses, a neurological trick designed to allow us to function within this specific dimension. But the inescapable truth is that we are immersed in an energetic matrix, a symphony of pure frequencies where everything is potentiality before it becomes form. This vibratory reality compels us to redefine the fundamental terms of existence: energy, the prana of yogis, the ki of Taoists, or the ether of antiquity, is not merely the fuel of life. It is the substance from which everything is made. Every thought, every emotion, every particle of cosmic dust is a specific frequency, characterized by its wavelength and amplitude. Planck's famous equation whispers that energy is not continuous, but rather occurs in discrete packets called quanta, and the magnitude of a quantum's energy is directly related to its frequency. Therefore, changing the energy of an object or a situation requires not brute force, but a subtle modulation of its inherent frequency. What we call matter is simply energy that has lowered its vibrational rate so much that it has condensed into a stable pattern, slow enough for our eyes and touch to interpret it as something fixed. The difference between a stone and a ray of light is not one of substance, but of speed and harmony in the oscillation. The great filter, the architect of our illusory perception, is the brain. This marvelous organ is not a creator of reality per se, but a decoder, an interpreter of the electromagnetic signals that constantly bombard our senses. Think of the brain as an extremely sophisticated antenna that receives the vast, infinite data from the quantum field and then translates it into the limited, three-dimensional experience we participate in. The color red doesn't exist outside your head. It's just a specific frequency of light that your brain interprets as red, based on a pre-established genetic and cultural code. If the brain isn't in the proper state of reception, if it's clouded by fear, doubt, or survival instincts, it will only be able to decode a very narrow fraction of potential reality. Reality is, therefore, a consensual, magnificently designed but fundamentally subjective hallucination, dependent on the internal state of the observer who, according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, has the power to collapse the wave of probability into a particle of certainty. This understanding is not a whim of modern physics. It is the echo of the Emerald Tablet, whose first maxim declares, "As above, so below," to accomplish the miracle of oneness. And the second, even more pertinent, the all is mind, the universe is mental. The universe, in its vibratory essence, is a vast consciousness, a unified field of information and energy. The ancient sages had no particle accelerators, but their deep dive into meditation and introspection revealed to them that the source of everything is the vibrant, invisible unity. Matter is the condensation of a thought. If the universe is, ultimately, a thought in the mind of the all, then our own capacity to think, feel, and project becomes an act of co-creation within that universal field of mind. To cease viewing energy as an abstract concept and to understand it as the primary substance of your being is the first step in reclaiming your demiurgic power. The practical implication that everything is energy transcends the philosophical and directly impacts the alchemy of daily life. If your body is nothing more than an energy network and your reality is a vibrational manifestation, then illness, scarcity, and conflict are not accidents of fate, but frequency imbalances. Popular belief compels us to attack the physical manifestation, matter. Ancestral wisdom demands that we modulate the energetic cause, vibration. If we perceive lack, it is because we are vibrating at the frequency of lack. If we desire health, we must stop focusing our energy on illness and tune into the radio station of perfect health. The universe does not distinguish between what is desired and what is feared. It simply responds to the dominant frequency we emit. Mastery, therefore, lies in learning to play your own inner instrument with precision, generating a melody so clear and constant that external reality has no choice but to resonate with it. The 7 energy centers, chakras, an explanation of the vortices that process energy in the human body, from survival, root, to enlightenment, crown. To understand how we modulate our frequency, we must examine the internal transformers that process cosmic energy and convert it into human experience. The chakras, or wheels of light. These are not physical organs in the Western sense, but rather dynamic vortices, swirling currents of subtle force located along the central channel, Sushumna Nadi, of the etheric body. They are vital bridges between pure consciousness, the quantum field, and dense manifestation, our body and reality. Each of the 7 main centers operates at a distinct frequency and is intrinsically linked to specific physiological, emotional, and spiritual functions. Imagine the body as a prism through which the undifferentiated white light of Source is divided into the 7 colors of the rainbow. Each color is a chakra, a specialized program for experiencing a particular aspect of existence. When one of these centers is obstructed or out of harmony, the vital energy, prana, stagnates, and that disharmony inevitably manifests in the physical or emotional reality corresponding to the affected vortex. The journey begins at the base, with Muladhara, the root chakra, the densest and most elemental vibration. This center is connected to the earth, anchoring our existence in physical reality and governing our basic survival, security, financial stability, and sense of tribal or familial belonging. Its frequency is that of primal fear. When unbalanced, life is perceived as a constant struggle for existence, dominated by the anxiety of lack and the inability to trust that the universe will provide. The lesson of the root chakra is the manifestation of solid matter and the overcoming of the fear of annihilation. A strong root does not deny danger, but radiates an unshakable conviction that one is sustained by life itself. It is the foundation upon which all the higher centers will be built, and without a solid foundation, any attempt at spiritual ascension will crumble under the pressure of material reality. Ascending, we find the triad of creative manifestation and personal power, Svadhisthana, sacral, and Manipura, solar plexus. The sacral, governed by the element of water, is the center of creativity, sexuality, pleasure, and emotional flow. It is where the energy of survival is transformed into the energy of desire and procreation, both physical and artistic. A blockage here results in emotional rigidity, guilt, and the inability to enjoy life in its sensual fullness. Immediately above, the solar plexus, Manipura, the center of fire and personal power, is the seat of the ego, will, and the ability to act and manifest desires. This is where personal identity is established in relation to the world. When Manipura is strong and balanced, it radiates confidence, discipline, and an unyielding will. When it is weak, one falls into victimhood, the need to control others, or total surrender to the environment, allowing the external frequency to dictate the internal one. The Anahata, the heart chakra, represents the turning point, the crucible where earthly energies, the 3 lower chakras, and spiritual energies, the 3 upper chakras, unite. Its frequency is the most critical for vibrational alchemy, unconditional love and compassion. The heart is the true magnetic center of gravity of being, the most powerful emitter of our energy field. Only when operating from Anahata can one transcend the duality of ego and fear. When the heart is open, healing flows not only to oneself, but also to the environment, dissolving low frequencies. Above it, Vishuddha, throat, governs communication and the expression of personal truth. It is the sonic manifestation of the heart's frequency. A blocked Vishuddha manifests as an inability to speak authentically or, conversely, as gossip and falsehood. Its opening allows vibrational intention to be articulated and projected into the quantum field without distortion. Finally, we arrive at the centers of transcendence, Ajna, third eye, and Sahasrara, crown. Ajna is the vortex of intuition, clairvoyance, and inner wisdom. It is the command center that processes non-sensory information, allowing us to see beyond the veil of material illusion and understand the underlying patterns of reality. Its activation is synonymous with awakening the higher mind. The apex of the energy pyramid is Sahasrara, the crown chakra, which connects directly with infinity, the source, the field of pure consciousness. Its frequency is that of pure unity, or Satchitananda. It is the portal to enlightenment, the realization that we are one with the all. Total health and vibrational mastery are achieved not only by activating these centers individually, but by harmonizing them in an uninterrupted and coherent flow, allowing the Kundalini energy to rise and purify the system, transforming the human being into a crystalline channel of light. Vibration and reality. How our personal frequency, fear, survival versus love, creation, dictates the reality we experience and attract. The fundamental teaching of this temple is that we don't attract what we think or what we desire superficially, but rather what we are vibrationally. Our personal frequency is the integrated sum of our dominant thoughts, our deep-seated emotions, and our subconscious beliefs. It is this total energetic signature that is projected into the universe. And the law of sympathetic resonance ensures that the cosmos returns to us experiences, people, and circumstances that vibrate at the same octave. If we constantly radiate a frequency of scarcity, a low vibration associated with the fear of the root chakra, the universe cannot manifest abundance, because abundance vibrates at a frequency of certainty and gratitude associated with the heart and crown chakras. It is a physical principle as immutable as gravity. Similar frequencies attract and amplify each other. The reality we perceive, therefore, is not an external imposition, but a perfect and constant reflection of our inner vibrational state. Low frequencies, such as fear, anger, shame, and guilt, are the energy of survival. These dense frequencies not only limit our ability to manifest, but they literally contract our electromagnetic field, making us less receptive to the information and potential of the quantum field. David R. Hawkins, in his Map of Consciousness, illustrates how these low-power emotions require an immense amount of energy to maintain, leaving us exhausted and reactive, perpetuating the victim cycle. When we operate at these vibrations, we are like a radio station tuned only to catastrophic news and dissonant music, no matter how many conscious wishes we formulate to hear a symphony of peace. The internal antenna can only pick up what resonates with its current configuration. Fear is the great inhibitor, the lock that seals off our creative capacity, as it is the antithesis of trust in the universal flow. Conversely, high frequencies, love, gratitude, joy, peace, and above all, unconditional bliss, are the energy of creation. These vibrations expand our field, opening portals of possibility and attuning our consciousness to the infinite resources of the universe. When we raise our frequency to the level of unconditional love, the domain of the heart, resistance disappears. We are no longer pushing against reality, but flowing with it. In this state, manifestation becomes effortless, as intention aligns perfectly with the cosmic current. The crucial difference between desiring something and manifesting it lies in the feeling that accompanies the desire. If you desire money, high vibration, but feel despair or envy, low vibration, you are sending a contradictory signal to the cosmos, a self-canceling wave. Mastery lies in becoming the vibration of what you desire, experiencing gratitude and the certainty of fulfillment here and now, before the physical manifestation occurs. Sympathetic resonance operates throughout the entire fabric of reality. Your personal frequency not only determines what you attract, but also how you interpret what is already present. Two individuals can witness the same event and experience it in radically different ways. One sees an opportunity, the other a catastrophe. This is not an accident, but a function of their vibrational filter. The person vibrating at a level of scarcity can only identify evidence of scarcity, even when abundance surrounds them. The universe, being a perfect mirror, simply reflects our inner song. If your song is one of lament, the world will be filled with echoes of pain. If your song is one of celebration, the world will be populated with reasons for joy. Understanding this is to take full responsibility for experienced reality, recognizing that there are no victims, only emitters and receivers of frequency. The challenge of shifting from low to high frequencies is not an intellectual exercise, but a rigorous emotional alchemy. It demands the courage to confront and release the dense emotions stored in the subtle body, which act as anchors keeping our vibration low. Simply trying to think positively without addressing the underlying anger or fear is like painting a mold-infested wall white. The energetic decay will persist. Real change requires a quantum leap, often initiated by a crisis or a profound realization, where we intentionally decide to shift the energy of a present moment, replacing the automatic reaction of fear with a conscious response of love or gratitude. It is the supreme act of inner sovereignty, choosing the frequency of creation over the frequency of survival, moment by moment, until the new octave becomes the soul's habitual tone. The matrix and the subconscious. The idea that we live 95% of the time in an automatic program from the past and how to awaken to reprogram it. If reality is a manifestation of frequency, why is it so difficult for most people to change their lives? The answer lies in the hidden architecture of the mind, specifically in the realm of the subconscious, that vast repository of memories, habits, traumas, and behavioral patterns that constitutes our personal matrix. Neuroscientists estimate that up to 95% of our daily decisions, reactions, and perceptions are governed by these automatic programs installed primarily during childhood, ages 0 to 7, through imitation, instruction, and emotional trauma. The subconscious is the autopilot of our being, designed for efficiency, allowing us to function without having to make conscious decisions about every breath or step. However, if these programs are loaded with the frequencies of fear, lack, and limitation inherited from the past, life becomes an inexorable repetition of that same past, regardless of our conscious desires. This matrix program manifests in the neural network as tightly wired synapses, electrical pathways the brain prefers to take due to familiarity and energy efficiency. When faced with a new situation, the subconscious scans its files for a pre-existing response, and if it finds a pattern that, however painful, is familiar, it executes it. For example, if the program includes the belief that money is hard to come by, every financial opportunity will be automatically sabotaged by behaviors that reinforce that belief. Without the conscious mind realizing the internal betrayal, living in the subconscious is living in the past, projecting yesterday's shadows onto tomorrow's canvas. The individual becomes trapped in a cycle of repetition, mistakenly believing they are making free choices when in reality, they are being directed by old recordings, like a puppet moved by invisible strings of emotional memory. The first step in dismantling this matrix is the awakening of the observer, the emergence of metacognition. This requires stepping out of the state of automatic reaction and creating a gap between stimulus and response. In this sacred space, the individual realizes, I am not my program, I am observing my program. This awareness is Archimedes' lever for change. The act of simply observing a limiting emotion or thought without judging or reacting to it weakens the neural circuitry that sustains it. By denying the energy of automatic reaction, The synapse begins to lose its electrical coherence. This is the moment of true freedom, when the conscious being intervenes and decides not to run the outdated software of survival, but to install a new application of creation. Reprogramming the subconscious mind requires patience, repetition, and crucially, the injection of a new emotional frequency. The subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined, emotionally charged one. This is why ancient techniques like meditation, creative visualization, the art of active imagination, and heartfelt affirmations become essential tools. By consistently visualizing the desired outcome, accompanied by the heightened emotion of gratitude or joy, as if it has already happened, we are installing new neural hardware. We are creating a new electrical pathway in the brain, one that vibrates at the frequency of abundance and health. With time and disciplined repetition, this new circuit becomes the preferred route, replacing the outdated program of the past with a new, consciously chosen future. The greatest challenge in this deprogramming process is the ego's resistance. The ego is built upon the identity of subconscious programs and identifies with limitations and fears. When we try to change the program, the ego perceives an existential threat and generates anxiety, doubt, or self-sabotage to maintain the familiar status quo, however painful it may be. Therefore, reprogramming is not just an act of will, but a profound act of self-love and perseverance. It is a process of becoming the sculptor of one's own identity, discarding the mask of the conditioned self to reveal the essential self, the conscious creator buried beneath layers of inherited programming. Awakening from the matrix is realizing that the external world is a consequence of what is stored within, and that the only way to transform reality is to rewrite the underlying memory. Heart and mind coherence. The importance of aligning thought, electrical, with emotion, magnetic, to send a clear signal to the quantum field. We have established that reality is vibration, and that our personal frequency is the key. Now we must understand the quantum mechanics of manifestation, the subtle technology that transforms inner intention into outer reality. For any desire to manifest, a clear, powerful, and coherent signal must be sent to the quantum field, that vast sea of potentiality containing all possibilities. This signal is not emitted by thought alone. It is generated by the synchronized alignment of the mind, the electrical component, and the heart, the magnetic component. Thought is the electrical charge, the focused intention that defines possibility. Emotion, generated in the heart, is the magnetic charge, the attractor that draws the experience toward us. When thought and emotion are in perfect resonance, a unified and immensely powerful electromagnetic field is created, the ideal vibrational signature for co-creation. Science has shown that the human heart is not only a biological pump, but also the most powerful magnetic field generator in the body, with a force up to 5,000 times greater than that generated by the brain. This cardiac field not only envelops the body, but extends several meters around us, acting as a constant transmitting and receiving antenna. The brain, on the other hand, is the information processing center, the generator of the electrical wave. If the brain, thought, intention, desires abundance, but the heart, emotion, is feeling fear, lack, or unworthiness, the resulting signal is a chaotic, incoherent frequency that cancels itself out. It's like shouting a command in two contradictory languages at the same time. The quantum field, which is pure consciousness, cannot respond to an ambivalent signal, and the result is stagnation or the manifestation of more of the same. Heart and mind. Coherence is the state of physiological synchronicity, where the heart rhythm and brain waves align, typically marked by a smooth sine wave pattern. This state is not merely a subjective feeling of well-being, it is a measurable condition of peak energy efficiency. When we achieve coherence, our electromagnetic field expands dramatically, becoming a stable, powerful, and monolithic signal. In this high vibration state, intention, clear thought, perfectly aligns with elevated emotion, heart certainty, creating a moment of creation where the signal sent to the universe is unequivocal. This is already my reality. This is the secret of master manifestors. They don't wish with effort, but rather know and feel with absolute coherence. To achieve this coherence, emotion must be the precursor, the driving force behind intention. The heart must be opened and uplifted through pure emotions such as gratitude, appreciation, or unconditional love, even before the thought of the desired outcome is articulated. Gratitude is key because it is the emotion that immediately communicates to the universe that something has already happened or is already present, eliminating the resistance of fear or doubt. Mystics have always emphasized the importance of the heart as the center of spiritual being, and now science confirms it as the center of magnetic power. By focusing the breath on the heart area and intentionally evoking a feeling of genuine appreciation, one forces entry into coherence, calming the discursive mind and harmonizing the two primary generators. When the heart and mind operate in coherence, the individual ceases to be a passive recipient of circumstances and becomes an active broadcaster of reality. The quantum field is, by nature, infinite in possibilities, but it only responds to the specificity of the signal. A coherent signal acts as a master key, unlocking the exact potential that matches the emitted frequency. Life is filled with synchronicities. Those magical coincidences that demonstrate the universe is realigning itself to satisfy the vibrational emission. The path of the master is not one of struggle or supplication, but of fine-tuning. By maintaining coherence, one becomes an unshakable beacon, and reality, like a ship drawn to light, inexorably heads toward it. The process of ceasing to be a victim of circumstances and becoming a conscious creator through the shift of energy in the present moment. The inevitable conclusion of these revelations is that the path to mastering reality is the path of inner alchemy. This is not the art of transmuting physical lead into gold, but the far deeper and more vital art of transmuting the lead of dense emotions, fear, anger, victimhood, into the gold of heightened awareness and intentional creation. The first step in this alchemy is the complete relinquishment of the victim mentality, which is the paradigm of external causality, the illusory belief that happiness or misfortune originates from people, places, or events outside oneself. The inner alchemist understands that external circumstances are mere symptoms, not the disease. They take full responsibility for their energetic state, recognizing that every situation is simply an opportunity to choose one's vibrational response. To cease being a victim is to cease projecting creative power outside oneself. The alchemy of transformation occurs rigorously in the crucible of the present moment. Hic et nunc. The past is merely a memory encoded in the brain. The future is energetic potentiality, the only point of power, the only place where energy can be changed and, therefore, where reality can be rewritten, is the now. The alchemist's art is to capture the dense emotion at the exact instant it arises, the outburst of anger, the pit of despair, and, instead of reacting automatically, running the matrix program, to stop and transmute that energy. This does not mean suppressing the emotion, which only represses it in the subtle body, but rather observing it, naming it, and then deliberately injecting a higher frequency emotion. The process of transmutatio requires the use of emotional energy itself as fuel. When fear arises, it feels like a surge of energy. The wise person doesn't flee from it, but observes it, recognizing this is the energy of my desire, distorted by fear. Then, they make the conscious decision to redirect that force. If fear is a high intensity of energy focused on a negative outcome, the alchemy consists of taking that same intensity and refocusing it through heart coherence, on the desired positive outcome, imbuing it with the emotion of gratitude or certainty. Fear becomes excitement, despair becomes determination. This is the essence of turning lead, low-frequency emotion, into gold, high-frequency emotion. It is the conscious raising of vibration in real time. This process demands discipline and an unwavering will. A single transmutation is not enough. Alchemy is constant work, a daily purification of energetic habits. The repetition of conscious choice, the repetition of coherence, is what ultimately reconfigures the subconscious and rewires the neurology. The alchemist lives in a state of constant vigilance, monitoring their vibrational field, not as a judge, but as a loving guardian of their own frequency. Over time, the new vibration of creation becomes automatic, and the individual begins to operate from a state of elevated being by default. They have broken free from the chains of the past and integrated the power of the present moment. The conscious creator, the realized alchemist, understands that it is not the world that tells him who he is, but rather, he tells the world who he should be. His reality is no longer a reaction to circumstances, but a continuous manifestation of his sovereign inner state. He has stopped searching for truth outside, in gurus, books, or external systems, and has found vibrational truth within his own energetic system. He has achieved sovereignty, the state of being unaffected by external chaos, because he has mastered his inner chaos. This mastery grants him the ability to shape the fabric of reality through the pure and coherent frequency that emanates from his aligned heart and mind. Beloved seekers, let us pause the flow of ether for a moment. Breathe deeply, drawing the air not only into your lungs, but also into that magnetic center in your chest, the seat of your power. You have absorbed the first great truth. You are a vibrational entity, not a static mass. You have seen the map of the 7 centers and understood that your reality is a direct function of your frequency. But knowledge without application is sterile. Before we delve into the specific techniques of vibrational modulation and anchoring in Act 2, I want you to ask yourself, with absolute honesty, without the judgment of the ego or the distractions of the world, if your current life is a mirror and what you see doesn't satisfy you, which of the 7 energy centers requires your most immediate alchemical attention? And what low-frequency emotion are you ready to transmute right now? The answer, held in your silence, will be your key to Act 2. Prepare yourself. Transmutation is imminent. We have navigated the labyrinth of consciousness and now ascend to the pinnacle of understanding. The great enlightenment is not new knowledge, but the recognition of what you always were, an architect of frequencies. The supreme synthesis is this: the universe operates under a single, immutable law, the law of resonance. The revealed knowledge is not about 7 separate points, but about a single conduit of light. The 7 centers are like orchestral instruments that must play the same symphony for reality to manifest without distortion. When the root is anchored in security, the sacral flows with creation. The solar plexus radiates will, the heart emanates unconditional love, the throat articulates truth, the third eye visualizes the divine plan, and the crown merges with the source. The central mystery solved is that there is no separation between the creator and the created. The reality you experience is a hologram projected directly from the coherence or incoherence of your internal system. Time is merely the illusion that allows you to experience this projection step by step. Mastery lies not in accumulating techniques, but in achieving total alignment. Mind, heart, and energy, vibrating in unison with the master frequency of existence. Your state of being is your most powerful decree. The powerful insight I'm giving you today is the golden key. Your power doesn't reside in what you do or what you acquire, but in who you are. The change in your destiny happens the instant you choose to change your frequency. There's no waiting, only action. knowing that you now possess the map of your vibrational sovereignty and that external chaos is merely a reflection of an internal dissonant frequency. What frequency will you unwaveringly maintain when the world invites you to fear and limitation? And will you accept your role as a beacon of light in the darkness? Expansion, decree. This map of consciousness is too vital to remain hidden. Share this transmission right now. Become a channel of cosmic service, a messenger of this transcendent truth. To ensure your continued ascent and establish yourself as a permanent guardian of this wisdom, register on the portal and activate the sacred notifications. The next portal. Our ascent continues unabated. Knowledge must be applied to create reality. The next phase, the diamond anchor, how to maintain pure, unaltered frequency, awaits you with precise energy modulation techniques. Click now and continue your expansion toward total mastery.